our beloved parishioners. I'm Bailee.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is
Praise be to Pod.
Thank you so much for joining us. Ashley, what has been on your heart?
You know, I don't have a lot on my heart
Oh.
lately. It was hard for me to come up with something because I've just been having like a mental crash out since our mental health episodes. And it's like not interesting to talk about. So I think instead I want to talk about how I've switched to natural deodorant.
Oh, that actually is so interesting to me, if you can believe it.
And we've all gone on this path
I haven't yet.
where we think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be putting aluminum in my body. And, you know, maybe I should be having a healthier life. And so I bought the special deodorant that doesn't have poison in it. And I smell like trash.
Really?
I smell disgusting. And I was talking to my husband about it because he uses non-aluminum deodorant. And he said, oh, well, you have to put it on 4 times a day. That's the only way it will work.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not working, but
I have not noticed if that means anything. And I would like out you publicly in front of everyone if I did.
I mean, rude, but also I would want to, like, he did notice and he was like, it's not me.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going well.
So I have like regular deodorant, like the one with all the carcinogens.
Yeah.
And I reapply 4 times a day. So I actually I typically keep deodorant in my bag just in case I need to like freshen it up.
Yeah, I'm not on that level. I was like a very, very, very hormonally sweaty teen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was like a girl in every school that had like the big pit stains when she was like 13, 14. That was me.
Oh, okay.
That was me in my school. But I just always wore black and kept my arms down.
Uh-huh.
But then I had to get special deodorant from the doctor.
Oh.
It's a common thing that happens during puberty.
Okay.
I found out very normal.
I believe you.
And it went away. So
Mhm.
then when I stopped being so sweaty all the time, I felt very free.
Okay.
This is too much information.
No, it's actually not enough. I have more questions. Okay, follow-up question. How hydrated would you say you are?
Very.
Okay, so I was
Extreme.
actually going to suggest, because I've noticed that when I'm less hydrated, that's when I have more BO.
Interesting.
Also, I will say when I was addicted to Adderall, I had really bad BO. And it helped to counter it with electrolytes. So if you don't already do that, I would try that. If you just started, was it Ritalin that you just started? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Glad I brought this up.
Yeah, no, maybe you just solved a really big problem. Because I definitely noticed a difference. Because it like stimulates dehydrate you like really quickly. And like dehydration can like increase body odor. And so if you've noticed this problem more recently, it likely could be because you need to like hydrate more. Even if you think you're drinking enough water, maybe throw some electrolytes in it or coconut water.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This episode is actually an advertisement for coconut water. Amazing.
What's on your heart? Hope it's more interesting than mine.
I don't know about that, but okay, I have a juicy confession to make.
It's already more interesting. What is it?
I have a crush on my dentist.
Wow.
No, I really do though, and it's like, it's really embarrassing because I've actually never seen his face because he's always wearing a mask. But he has this,
But he has to have good teeth. He's a dentist.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Or maybe he has terrible teeth and that's why he like got into dental school. I don't know. But it is like, I think like my first appointment with him was like a year ago. And I could literally feel it when he walked into the room because his energy was just so palpable. And I just remember being like, hey. And he was just like, hi, Bailee, how are you? And I'm like, oh my God, he knows my name. I got so just like, he just is such a like caring, gentle person.
Wow.
At least he is like in his profession.
Standout dentist, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's like truly insidious when he's not at work. Like, that's actually super possible. Kind of like in Fargo, the TV show. Do you ever see that? Yes. Where Billy Bob Thornton in the last part of the first season is a dentist, but he's also a serial killer.
Yeah.
I can totally see that, but just like the way he says my name and walks into the room, like I am tempted to stop brushing my teeth just so I have to go to the dentist more and get like a ton of like fillings.
Yeah.
I've never had a filling before.
Oh my God. That's making me so mad.
Do you feel a lot of fillings?
Half my mouth is crowns.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry. It's not like I've had other dental work
I'm
done.
really happy for you.
It doesn't
I'm
sound
just
like
jealous.
it actually doesn't sound
I'm
like
just
you are.
jealous.
It actually sounds like you're filled with resentment.
I don't resent you. I'm jealous of you. I wish I had genetically strong teeth. I do not.
I don't, but other people in my family don't. I would say so this is not like to say you don't take care of your teeth. I do take very good care of my teeth. But, like, I think my siblings have all had fillings and stuff. Yeah. And I will say that my teeth have a lot of wear on them because I grind my teeth in my sleep because of anxiety, because I grew up with religious trauma. Hence this podcast.
Well, this is going to be a great episode.
Yes, but, yeah, I just haven't had specifically a cavity. But I grind my teeth to the point where they're like, oh, like, do you have, like, an abnormal amount of, like, wear in the back of your teeth? Yeah.
So you're probably going to have to see your dentist again soon. For that.
If I'm lucky.
Keep grinding those teeth.
I do have to get...
Amazing.
I do have to come in to, like, get some work done next week. And so I'm going to do some research because I didn't, like... I had a friend... I was talking about this to a friend. And she was like, did you see a wedding ring? I don't pay attention to
what... he's wearing gloves.
Well, I don't pay attention to wedding rings because I'm a bad person. So, like, I have to go back. It's just a non-issue. It's just a non-matter. So I have to go back and be like, I have to pay attention to see if like he is wearing gloves to see if I can find an outline of his wedding ring. God. I was like, I honestly don't know because unfortunately that's just not a factor for me. Oops. Anyway.
It couldn't be further from the truth.
Speaking of marriage. Well, actually, before we get into that, trust and obey. Do you have any trust and obey recommendations?
I do.
Okay.
Mine are music today.
Okay.
Because I do listen to a lot of music, and I didn't realize, like, most people kind of stop listening to music when they're my age. Like, they just stop listening to new things.
Oh, that's true. That is actually
like, they
real.
just only listen to whatever they liked in college or, like, 10 years before that. So
that too.
I didn't realize, like, oh, I still continue to listen to new albums, and I guess that's an outlier for my age.
Yeah.
So something that I've gotten into recently, which really surprised me, is the band Turnstile. I was forced to watch them a couple times because I was forced to go to concerts that they were at.
What do you mean by forced? Were you, like, what does that look like to be forced to go to a concert?
I am married to somebody whose number one joy in life is live music.
Well, it's actually very wholesome.
Yes.
I fear that's very wholesome.
It's amazing. He loves live music. He loves supporting musicians. He'll always buy them merch. Like he's worked in music, so he knows what it takes to put on a show. Like it's just his love and like everything he loves to do. It's the reason that we travel sometimes is because he wanted to go to a concert, you know. It's fine. Before I met him, I hadn't been to a concert in years because it gives me so much anxiety. So I've really overcome a lot, and he's helped me overcome a lot in that sense because he just helped with a lot of my anxiety. But anyway, I've seen this band a few times live, and they're like really big new band. Well, they've been around for a long time, but they really popped off the last few years because they opened for Blink-182. And they also opened for Snail Mail, which was funny because Snail Mail is like a real bummer, like emo music, indie emo music. And then they opened for her. It was bizarre. Anyway, so I've seen them a lot, but they just came out with a new album and it's a banger.
Okay.
Like every song's a banger and I'm obsessed. And if you are ever like angry in the car, it's the best.
Oh, I'm almost exclusively angry in the car.
Me too. So. I just cranked it. Because it's like on the line of hardcore. And like that's not usually something I would ever like, but they have enough melodic parts to their music that I really love it. I would have never liked music like this before. Like I'm really surprised at how much I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you were a Christian, did you ever get into like hardcore Christian music, like screamo or anything? No. Yeah, me neither.
A lot of my friends did because I really liked emo music.
Yeah.
And like Newfound Glory, which isn't Christian, but like it's on the line. And you know, I was real like Dashboard Girl. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. We'll have
of course Reliant K. Yeah.
Reliant fucking K. You know.
So that's my recommendation to trust and obey is to listen to Never Enough by Turnstile. The whole album. No skips.
No skips.
No skips. It's
great.
Because
it's a story. You can't interrupt the narrative.
I don't know if it's a story, but it's great.
I used to have an ex that would get really mad at me for listening to, like, singles, like, songs, because he's like, no, you have to listen to the whole album. It's a story. It's a narrative. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not.
I mean, he's not incorrect. It's just so fucking pretentious.
I mean, like, just leave someone alone and let them listen to music how they want.
Yeah.
But my biggest sin in listening to music is that I will play, like, something that Spotify or whatever else I'm listening to tells me I like, and then I just listen, and I have no idea who it is.
That's actually a good thing. That's how you learn new music.
But I don't pay attention either. Like, I've been at concerts, and I'm like, I know this song.
But you didn't know who it was from.
And Danny would be like, I know, you listen to this song all the time. And I'm like, I had no idea who it was.
I didn't know it was this person.
That's my biggest sin. So I'm trying to get better.
Your biggest sin.
My biggest sin in life. Yeah. I'm trying to get better. I'm working on it.
I love that.
I need to stop talking. What about you? What about you? What do you recommend?
So I just finished Alex Cooper's documentary. I think it's called Call Her Alex.
Yeah. On Hulu?
Sorry?
On Hulu?
Yes. And I have to say, I am really impressed.
Yeah.
And that is Alex Cooper is someone I think does not get enough credit for specific skills that she has. Like, she's undeniably popular.
Yeah.
But she is such an excellent interviewer. Like, there's this interview she does with Jane Goodall where Jane Goodall, Monkey Girl, specifically says, you are one of the best interviewers I've ever had. This person has probably been interviewed by National Geographic. But Alex Cooper is the best interviewer.
But has she been on Hot Ones? Because he's good.
I don't know.
He's so good.
I don't know. I'm sure, but I just think that Alex Cooper is someone that, like, people often associate with being, like, a valley girl.
Yeah.
But she clearly has so much empathy, and you can tell that she is genuinely curious about the people that she has on her podcast.
Yeah.
And that she really wants to make them look good. And regardless of whether or not she's faking it or she genuinely, like, cares about people, I can't tell because, like, it really enhances the quality of her interviews. And I love, one of my favorite storylines or narratives is when someone who's, like, kind of boxed into a certain genre breaks out.
Yeah.
And people actually realize they're really smart. And I think that's really happening to her right now. And I love to cheer her on from the sidelines. Sure. Yeah. So I would recommend Call Her Alex because it's really good. And it'll, if you don't already have a lot of respect for her, it'll give you a lot of respect for Alex Cooper.
Yeah, there's a lot. I figured, like, oh, I'll watch this and I'll already know everything. There was a lot I didn't know about her story.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's really interesting. Like, she's really had to overcome a lot.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah.
This was nice.
Nor did I.
I liked it as well. Well, I am really excited about the topic today.
I know you are.
You should tell us what we're doing next.
I certainly can. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the unhealthy idolization of marriage in the evangelical church and how it impacts people's self-concept and the culture surrounding it, and just, like, the general effect of the evangelical industrial or marriage industrial complex. So to get us started, I came up with a little bit of a game for us.
Yes.
And I call it Sexy or Shameful.
Okay. I didn't look at it on purpose.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you different pieces of marriage advice that me and other people have received in the church, marriage or dating. Okay. And I want you to tell me if it is either sexy, so good advice, or shameful, bad advice.
Okay.
Something you think you can do?
Ready.
Here we go. The first one. Men are visual creatures.
What are my options? Shameful.
Shameful.
Binary.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Binary.
It's just, like, too black and white?
Yes. Me too.
Yeah. I would agree.
Makes me angry. Of course they are. Who isn't?
I would agree. Also, like, have you ever been in a man's apartment? You're telling me you're telling me that, like, headboardless bed and that nasty ass sink is from a visual gender? Meanwhile, my apartment looks like a catalog from Anthropology, but I don't care about looks. I'm just fucking saying. Also, I will say this too. To be able to prefer looks in a relationship is a privilege. It means that you don't have a long list of, like, is he a serial killer? Will he abuse children? Is he, like, literally thinks I'm like less of a human. Like, yeah, if you don't have to like cross off all of those things from a list, I would also be like, I really like blondes.
Well,
like,
I mean, the reason people say that is because they like want you to wear a turtleneck so that he's not like thinking about having sex with you because he's too visual.
That, or you have to like really invest in your appearance.
I was like, oh, well, have you seen a man in sweatpants? Fuck off.
It's so hot.
I'm visual too.
They look cute in their little gray sweatpants. All right, I'm moving on.
Great. Okay, I don't want to look.
Okay. Here's another piece of advice. Guard your heart.
I think not sexy, but not shameful.
Elaborate.
Just the options are sexy or shameful.
Right. But you can like also like fill in the gray if you need to elaborate.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm being annoying. I think it's good to guard your heart. I don't think it's bad. But I think like my youth pastor saying it's annoying to only women.
Yes, literally.
Yeah. So maybe both.
I would agree with you because I feel like that was advice given to me a lot growing up and I really hated it. That being said, I do think being vigilant, specifically when you're dating, because like the emotional labor expected from women is like a very valuable resource.
Yeah.
And I don't just give it freely to anyone anymore.
Yeah.
So I do actually think that was advice that stood the test of time.
Agreed.
Surprisingly, because I used to hate it.
Well, it was just only shoved down women's throats.
I think that's the problem, is that it's like gendered.
Yes.
Totally.
That's my problem with all of these.
Okay, this is a really easy one. Your virginity is the greatest gift you can give your husband. Is that sexy or shameful advice, Ashley?
That is shameful. Because there are other great gifts in life.
It's also just not a gift. It's neutral.
It's not a gift.
Okay. A healthy marriage isn't 50-50. It's 100-100.
I don't know. I think it changes every day. It changes every week, and it should flow.
So it's a fluctuating scale.
I think so.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Because there are times where you might have to do like 70-30.
Even I look at like our partnership with the podcast. I'm sure there's days that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And days you're like, wow, Ashley's doing a lot and I'm not.
Yes.
And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know?
No. But I think that there's like an element of trust where we don't have to like tally too much. Right. You know the other person's invested. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense actually. Okay. Your husband should be the head of the household.
Shameful.
It's also just like, do you even know any men with leadership qualities? Like, even if I'm not personally I don't have like a super leadership oriented personality, but like, I feel like I have to be leaders in relationships a lot of the time because they just don't feel super inclined to leadership.
Like, what's a household? Like, do you mean the house? Because
I think like the family, the nuclear family.
Like, what man is taking care of their house? No man.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so shameful, I assume?
Yes.
You're like, clearly.
Anything sexist, it's gonna continue to make me mad.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then you're gonna love this next one.
Shit.
You need to be in your feminine energy to attract a godly or high value man.
I don't even know what to say. I'm so annoyed.
You've heard this advice though, right?
I think people trying to control my energy to have me attracted is insane.
I would agree.
Like, I can't change my energy to get something that I'm not. Like, this isn't going to work.
Right.
Let's say I do that. I change my energy and I'm feminine for 1 minute. Well, tomorrow I'm not going to be like that because it's not who I am.
I know. And it's going to feel really contrived and like not authentic.
And then the guy will be like, where'd you go when you're with your feminine energy? And be like, actually, I don't have any. Tricked you. Now we're married. Also, great plan.
I feel like a lot of like traditionally feminine energy is just being childlike and subservient. Where if we're like really talking about like the women of ancient stories, they're like insane.
They're like
in a good
very
way.
Manipulative and crazy.
Yeah, like talk about Jezebel spirit. Or they're just like warriors. Like
Delilah or Esther is crazy.
I know. I love those girls. All right, I'm going to do 2 more.
Okay.
Divorce is not an option for us.
Shameful.
Okay.
Shameful.
Okay.
You know what that does?
So
it
you're
keeps women
pro-divorce.
in terrible situations.
I would agree. You will meet your husband when you stop looking for it.
No, not true. I mean, if someone could really program it like this, they'd be rich. You know how many dating apps there are?
Too many.
The dating app would just be, oh, stop looking.
Right.
Pay me $50. It's so stupid.
Fair enough. You know what I hate?
It's
when like a couple is giving me dating advice and they're like, it'll happen to you when you stop looking for it. And then I'm like, oh, how did you meet? And they're like, on Bumble. And I'm like, so you were looking for it.
Yes.
Everybody is looking for it. And that's okay. It's not a shame to like want something and to take actionable steps to get that thing. Why is that so shameful? Okay, we're done with this fucking game.
Are people just giving you dating advice?
All the fucking
and you're not
time.
asking for it?
I sometimes ask for it.
If you're asking for it, that's fine. But like, I have learned as a mature adult to stop giving people advice unless they're asking for it.
Right. I think when I was like newly single, people gave me more dating advice and I was more receptive to it. But the people who really know me in my life know that like no matter what I do, you can't like unravel patriarchy, and that like people are still going to operate what their character tells them to do. And so now I don't get any more dating advice because now they're just like, beats me. You're doing everything I would do. So I don't really get it anymore. But there was a period of time like people just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Oh, wait, there was a really crazy one that we got from one of my friends.
Do you want to say it?
Yeah.
And do it for me? Okay.
Okay, so one of my friends used to work for this marriage ministry. And so I was like, I know you're going to have a lot of weird things to tell me. And so I asked him, like, what was the weirdest advice they gave? And this was the weirdest one. If you have a same-sex attraction problem, I'm putting quotes in there because I don't think it's a problem, just so you know if you're listening. If you have a same-sex attraction problem, just have more sex with your partner, your spouse, and it will go away.
Your opposite gender spouse?
Yes. Then it'll go away.
Easy. It's so easy, y'all.
Yeah, just keep having sex.
Yes, just pray it away. It's so easy.
Shameful or sexy?
So shameful. For everyone involved.
Insane advice.
It's horrific advice.
We'll get more into that later.
Nobody wins from that advice.
We'll get more
not
into
your
that later.
opposite gender partner, not you.
Crazy advice.
Nobody.
I remember when I was in youth group in high school, we would pack all the youth kids up in the van and drive up to the cities to go to the church mega rally. It was like a youth, I don't know, culty seminar.
Yeah.
But we would go to Bethel College. My dream was to go to Bethel, but too poor. And Greg Speck was speaking once. I remember I was like very impacted by his theatrics. And I looked him up, still speaking today.
Oh, God bless him.
Or at least he has a website today with all his old weird books for teens. He was exclaiming that, you know, if you save yourself for marriage, you don't have sex, your husband would just be so obsessed with you because he would just be the person who thought you were the hottest woman in the world and he would love everything you did. And I did save myself for marriage and I got married and my husband didn't like anything I did.
Oh.
Didn't work at all, Greg. So today we're talking about marriage in the church and the church's narrative about how obsessed they are with people getting married no matter what, at any cost.
Literally obsessed. It's literally like if you grew up evangelical, from like the moment you started like in like kids' church, you were taught to put marriage on a pedestal. Yes. It was like the goal, particularly if you were a young lady. Like, that was the ultimate thing that you could, like, achieve, essentially.
I remember my grandma showing me, like, you know, she'd get all these pictures at Christmas in people's cards and her going through and telling me who they all were because I didn't know. She was like, this far-off cousin of yours. She just got married and she's 30. And I was like, is that old? Like, I was like, wait, I'm confused. I was like in college. I was in my 20s. And I was like, wait, I don't have a boyfriend. Is my grandma going to be mad at me?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't married. Marriage is kind of like the whole reason to have a life in the Christian church.
Yep.
And I felt like I was taught over and over again, like when you get married, like implicitly taught, when you get married, that's when your life begins.
Yes.
That's when you are now an adult.
Yes.
That's when you will be fulfilled in the church and fulfilled in your life, and you'll have this romance that you've always wanted. And like all of these goals were just like, when you get married, they'll all come true.
Yeah. And even outside of the church, I would say the culture at large views marriage as kind of like the before and after of adolescence and adulthood.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people who don't get married on that timeline, there is this idea that they're living in extended adolescence, which is very condescending and harmful.
Yes.
But definitely, like, marriage is a really big, like, landmark timeline indicator for a lot of people. And so there is a lot of pressure in culture in general, but I would say it's amplified in the church to get married so that you can finally enter adulthood in an authentic way and be seen as, like, a legitimate person.
Yeah, it's really sick. And it's especially bad, like, in the Midwest and the South.
Yes.
I feel like on the coast, it's a little bit more normalized. To get married later or to not get married at all. And I feel like there's this gendered pressure too in the church that's like women need to just like wait and be picked and men need to like lead and pursue.
Yes.
And it's really harmful because it kind of like takes all the agency out of it for women.
Yes, it's basically just like you get to select from the group of men who select you.
Yeah. And I remember watching some women like turn down the good guys of the church. And I was like, she is so brave.
Yeah.
And cool. Like, I can't believe she didn't want to date him. Because, like, of course he would date him. He's a nice person and he's over 5'10". Like, what are you doing?
The two parameters.
Doesn't have a job, you know, lives in someone's living room. No problem. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And then I feel like it was also preached from the pulpit every weekend, talking about getting married, being married, marriage advice, blah, blah, blah. Like, half the congregation isn't married.
Right.
And they don't care.
But yeah, it was still like very focused. And there was a lot of like, I don't know if you experienced this, but there were a lot of parallels made to that, like marriage was a sacrament that was supposed to symbolize the relationship between Christ and like the body of Christ or like the church. So if you weren't married, you didn't have like a more or you didn't like have access to that really grand metaphor that really like honed in the relationship between like Christ and people. And so like there was definitely like a spiritual hierarchy to people that were married, and it was like very evident too, I would say, in how it was like presented in the church. Before you got married, what were some of the messages that you received that kind of put pressure on you to get married?
The first time?
Yes. The first marriage.
I think because I was a missionary, like I was a missionary for InterVarsity and then I was a missionary abroad, I was always fundraising. And fundraising as a single woman was really hard.
Why so?
Because people weren't funding a couple being like committed to this missions or this mission. Like, it was just me kind of doing whatever I wanted kind of in their mind. And I only had one person's network instead of two.
Yes.
That was also really hard compared to like the couples that fundraised. They were seen more as like being sent as missionaries.
Or they're as like an established family.
Yeah.
It's not just like a young person who has like a whim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just honestly really hard with purity culture and being single. Like, I got married the first time when I was 30. So I experienced like all of my 20s being single. And I felt like I'll never get married kind of vibe, because I got married super fast too, of course. Because that's how the church does it. Yeah. So like I met my first husband when I was like 29 or something. Yeah. You know, and then got married within a year. And
which, like, in evangelical context is later, even though it's like a very normal timeline for like a secular world, for sure.
And especially like living abroad and, you know, those things, it was really isolating. Yeah. That's an isolating incident in general, but living abroad and being single is really lonely. Yeah. Yeah. And I kept thinking like, oh, if I was married, I would have a partner. Like, I wouldn't be so lonely. Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense.
And that all of my like sexual repression would be relieved and perfected.
Yeah. And
if I got married.
When you did get married, what were some surprises that you experienced that weren't like what you were told would happen?
I think we were a bad match.
Okay.
First of all, I think everyone would say that.
Yeah. And why, before we get into that, why did you get married to someone who was a bad match? Did you feel pressure to marry this person? Like, what were the reasons for that?
I talked about it in the last couple episodes, but like there was so many miraculous things around our relationship, and like it just kept feeling like God wanted us together. But also, I didn't know until we lived together. And I think not living with somebody was really hard on me, like personally, and on my anxiety. Like I didn't realize how much anxiety I had around my space and my home and where I lived. Like I'd never lived with a man. I had never lived with a husband. I had never been married. I had a lot of changes at once. I moved back from being abroad. I went and lived in Florida. I never lived in Florida. There were all these changes at once. It was the first time I had a job that I went to like 9 to 5 in an office. I'd never done that. So like I was very depressed, but I didn't really know why. And I think it was all too much at once, but at the same time, like all of a sudden dealing with finances together, dealing with sex together, dealing with living together, like it was a lot.
And it's a lot
really overwhelming
have to experience all at once.
All at once.
Like in the secular world, you typically experience those things like in tandem, like or things like happen like one at a time. But like for people who wait until they're married to even like live together or sleep together, like it's all happening in one day.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
Yes.
And it like you really get a very specific experience with a person when you live with them. Like we've all had cases where like you're friends with someone and then they become your roommate and they have a falling out.
Not friends with them anymore.
So like, but yet we like encourage people to not live together before they sign a contract of a forever relationship.
Yeah.
Also, like, and this is just a generalization, but like, there's a lot to get used to living with a man and their lifestyle. Like, I will say, like, I've only lived with one other person. And he was very lovely. And he was like very good at like keeping the space tidy and like did a lot of domestic work. But for a lot of traditional like heterosexual relationships, a lot of people experience like a surprise when they find out how little domestic work their like male counterparts do in relationships. And it's like, oh, if you don't like know that in advance, like I know a lot of people who are like, I didn't realize I was moving in and marrying somebody who didn't know how to do the dishes.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because like we were both so poor that we had always had a lot of roommates. So I don't even think either one of us knew what we would do if we only had each other as a roommate. Like I never had just one roommate. So I did like for a little bit, but that was a big shock too. It was like, oh, I went from having all these people around me all the time to just one person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just a lot.
Definitely.
Too much to adjust to right away. There's a quote too that kind of leads itself into a lot of the way the charismatic world sees marriage. So it's by Lisa Bevere, who
I know Lisa
is a very Pentecostal like preacher, and she writes a lot of books and stuff. So the quote is, "When a husband and wife are aligned with heaven, they become a force the enemy cannot withstand."
Oh.
So it's definitely like an idolization of this married couple being this force that like the devil always wants to break apart, and you have to stand against the devil to fight for God, and that your marriage is like a profession of your faith to the world. And I was also very surprised by like having to deal with someone else's spiritual life. Like you kind of, as a teen, when you're idolizing marriage, you kind of think like, oh, and then we'll have our devotions together in the morning and then we'll pray together at night. And like two people's spiritual walks aren't the same ever.
Right.
So like to feel like you have all this pressure to also have your spiritual lives are intertwined. It's crazy because our spiritual lives were very different.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like really criticized about that
often.
So? Like just the way that I saw God or like communed with God was very different, and it didn't go over well.
It didn't go over well with this person. Gotcha. And why do you think like you had just like recently said that like you felt like there were a lot of signs and stuff, and I think you mentioned this in the last episode that you experienced a lot of like signs and serendipitous moments that seemed like you were supposed to marry this person, yet just like general likability and like chemistry wasn't necessarily there. So why do you think you felt an external social pressure to get married when it maybe wasn't the best fit? Like what were some of the external forces there?
I don't know how much I want to get into this. But my first husband almost called off our wedding.
Oh, wow.
Like maybe a month before we got married.
I didn't know
He
that.
kind of he had cold feet and like he had doubts. And I just constantly felt like, no, this is something I have to fight for. And this is the enemy getting a foothold on him. And he's just like, he was like a dreamer and a creative guy and very like, he was a musician and just like kind of head in the clouds sometimes. And I was like, I'm the one to like ground us. And I'm the one to like, you know, really keep us in line with God's plan. Like it was just so gross and so legalistic.
It's also just like, even if you were trying to follow suit with like a traditional Christian marriage, like that actually wasn't even your job.
Right.
If men are supposed to be the spiritual leaders of a household, why were you grounding him?
Yeah, I don't know. I just like really felt like, no, we have to push through this and it will be worth it in the end kind of vibe. And I remember like we took a weekend apart and I was like, okay, well, if like you show up on this beach on Sunday afternoon, like, and I'm there, then we'll get married.
Okay.
And I didn't know if he'd show up. And then he like came with flowers. And I was like, oh, he came to his senses. We're getting married.
That's so dramatic. That's
oh
so
my God,
diva
it was
of
so
you.
dramatic. It was.
I do love a good like diva moment where it's just like, if you even care about me, you will arrive at this beach with these flowers. I actually really respect
I just said
that.
that we would meet at the beach. I didn't say anything about flowers. He just brought them.
A nice little touch.
It's like embarrassing to talk about.
No,
I feel so embarrassed.
It's so real. Don't even worry about it.
It makes me hate myself.
Why?
Because it's so pathetic.
Romance is a little pathetic.
It's just so pathetic. Like, I look back and I'm like, I was so pathetic.
Why do you think that?
I was just so obsessed with getting married because of this bullshit.
Right.
It makes me really mad and really sad.
Well, that's kind of like one thing I wanted to like get into a little bit is like, you didn't necessarily get a sense that this person was the right fit, yet you still felt like an extra sense of pressure, which I think speaks a lot to like the hierarchy that the church puts on being married over being single.
I mean, like, I trusted that all of these signs are pointing to our marriage because our marriage will be powerful. Like, it wasn't like I really liked hanging out with him. Like, that wasn't true. Like, I liked that.
Yeah.
And we had chemistry and like, I like wanted to have sex, like, and with him. And that was all like, well, then we get married.
Yeah.
Of course.
Obviously.
You know? And like, we loved each other.
Yeah.
It's not like there was no chemistry or romance or anything. Like, it was exciting. And he was like a love bomber. He was very romantic, wrote poetry, like always got me flowers, like very, very intentional until we got married.
That is so interesting to me. And I've heard a lot of stories like that too, specifically with women. That being said, I'm not saying that men never experience this. I have more friends who are women, so I'm more inundated with these stories. That being said, I don't think it's always that like men have it made and like women are the ones who suffer. Like I know it's more complicated than that, but I just get more stories of like women being kind of dealt the like shitty hand in marriage. But I do feel like I hear a lot of stories of like somebody really putting their best foot forward. And then once they get married, all of a sudden it's just like a bait and switch where they're like, who is this person? Like, and I feel like I contextually hear a lot of those in the church, especially.
Yeah, I think because the finish line is the marriage.
Yes.
Like, so, I mean, I don't even necessarily blame him for that. It's like, but we got married. Now we're supposed to be happy. Now everything's supposed to work. Now everything's supposed to be better and easier. And like, it just doesn't work like that.
No, not at all. But it makes sense that you like had that because so my background is like a little interesting because I grew up with like a single mom. And even though I grew up in like a very like charismatic evangelical church, I didn't get as inundated with you have to get married messages as the average person. And to be honest with you, like my family, like I'm a single person now, but my family is not typically the one who's like criticizing me for being single still. Like I constantly get messages from my family that's like, it would be better for you to remain single the rest of your life than to marry the wrong person, which is very rare for an evangelical community. But I don't think that marriage is put on as much of a pedestal as it is maybe in some other environments.
Yeah. Okay. So the theology of marriage can get really weird
Mm-hmm.
when you kind of look into like complementarianism, when men lead and women submit. That's biblical, quote unquote biblical.
Because Eve came from Adam's rib.
Yes.
And so she's his helpmate, I think it says in Genesis.
Yes, so it does say helpmeet. But what makes me really mad is when I studied the Old Testament in depth, the same word used for helpmeet or helpmate is the same word used for the Holy Spirit. And it's always like, oh, it's this subservient role. It's this helper, you know, like, well, if you don't think the Holy Spirit's powerful, like, you're in the wrong spot.
Right.
So it just made me so angry because it was like all of these contextual ideas about how women are subservient are taken supposedly from the Bible when the Bible doesn't say that.
Right.
It's very frustrating.
Right.
And I just feel like that is like where the patriarchy really weaves its way through pushing down women so that men can be pulled up, and it's ruined our country.
I would agree. And other countries too. But I also think what's really interesting about that is like there is this like idolization of like traditional marriages where like the man is the leader and the woman isn't. But I feel like in so many relationships, that is just not the natural inclination of either person. In fact, I remember growing up and seeing a lot of marriages where the woman in the relationship was just so much more prone to leadership than the guy. And the guy just like wasn't. He just kind of, as you said, like had his head in the clouds. Or even if it wasn't like head in the clouds, it could have just been like he had different skills. Right. He was like more involved in different things. But the visionary was typically the woman, actually. She did a lot more of the mental load. And I'm not even just talking about like traditional female responsibilities. I'm also talking about traditionally masculine responsibilities, like bills and like building the house and career. I've seen so much more ambition and initiative in the wives than in husbands. Mostly, like obviously there are exceptions. So one thing that always really confused me as a kid is I heard a lot of examples of like people from the pulpit saying that wives need to let their husbands lead, meaning that like they need to like kind of step aside or like encourage their husband to like take initiative. And I remember even as a kid thinking like, if someone has to let someone lead in a relationship, then they are the natural born leaders. Yeah. Because they're the ones who are like taking the initiative to like for instance, like if I was an employer and I had an employee that I wanted to take more initiative, I would be mentoring them to become leaders. But that means that like basically the church is asking wives to mentor their husbands into leadership. They do, but that makes them the leaders, the wives. Yes, and obviously. I feel like this is like the best metaphor I can put for a lot of advice. It's like, you know, when you're making brownies with a kid, and you're buying the ingredients. Yeah. You bring all the ingredients together. Yeah. You bring the stool for the kid. Yeah. You crack the eggs.
Measure it out.
And you measure it out, and then you give them a mixing spoon, and then you say, hey, you can mix it now. And they mix it, and they're giggling, they're laughing, and at the end of the day, you say, you made brownies. Good job. That is what I visualize when I hear advice. You need to let men lead.
It's not far
where it's like I have to bring all the ingredients together just to like make their egos feel good. That is like, if I was a man hearing that advice, I would be so offended. Like that's like half the marriage advice about like women basically like trying to get their husbands to lead. If I was a guy, I would be like, do you guys think I'm dumb?
Also, like, why do we need to be led? What are you leading me in? What are we leading?
I mean, I understand contextually, like, having a family unit and having, like, somebody kind of be, like, or, like, obviously, like, I think parents can lead together, but, like, somebody needs to be kind of, like, head of household. I think it should be, like, a unit, like, the parents together. I understand why someone feels like they need to appoint a leader in a family unit. I just don't think that men are up for it, personally.
I just think it's a bizarre thing to construct.
Like leadership? But most.
No, I'm just saying, like, in a family, to be like, this man's the leader and this woman's subservient to him. Like, what does that even mean for them? That's not helpful.
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't
It's
really
like,
know
that
where the
means
origins
that
of that
he
come
goes to
from.
work and she stays at home. Sounds like she's leading the house then.
Right, and she's, like, letting him go run errands and, like, do his little hobby.
Yeah.
No, like managing a household involves, like, a lot of brain power. I don't know why that is so, like, demeaned
It
and
makes
stuff.
me crazy.
No, I totally understand.
Okay, so I want to get a little bit into your story, because I
Okay.
know this has kind of been a sore spot for you with how you've been treated in the church specifically
Mhm.
and in the world, and I can identify with that, but want to make sure to like bring light to everyone's experience and story that they could be in.
Mhm.
Like, how do you feel towards marriage, and like, how have you been treated?
Yeah. So, I'm gonna be honest, like, growing up, like, I didn't feel, like, a pressure to get married, but it was kind of like a given. Like,
Yeah.
it was just assumed that I would
Yeah.
be. And I remember, like, I remember we had this, like, prophet guy come to our church who,
Hmm.
like, prophesied over everyone. And specifically over me, he said, like, I can see in your future that you're gonna have a really good husband. And I also, like, didn't have a dad for most of my
Yeah.
childhood. So, like, in my mind, I really felt like a lot of healing would come when, like,
Mm.
a man would enter my life and
Yeah.
heal some of the wounds maybe that
Mm.
had been opened with the death of my dad.
Hmm.
And so I, like, in some ways put that on a pedestal because I just assumed that it would be something that would come in my life at some point. And also, like, I didn't really date when I was
Yeah.
younger. And if I'm being also honest, like, I, in my mind, didn't feel like I had a lot of people who liked me or at least came forward with liking me. So in my mind, I, was already forming a lot of, like, ideas about, like, how men viewed me. But I was like, oh, but one day I'll get married and then it'll be
Hmm.
fine. Fast forward, like, I'm not married.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me that's like, dang, like, a lot of the things that, because I had a lot of people tell me, like, that I had, like, this was, like, a common piece of, like, advice that people would give me. And it was well-meaning, but I don't love this advice where they would say, like, oh, Bailee, like, it's going to take a really special man to be married to you. And in my mind, I'm just
like a funny one, like one with a sense of humor.
or one that's, like, just like one that has a lot of confidence and self-esteem. And when I hear that, I'm like, do you think I'm just gonna, like, berate my husband?
I've heard the same stuff.
Yeah, where it's just like, do you think that? And I always ask, because now I ask, I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they're like,
Yeah.
well, you're just, like, a very confident person, and it's gonna take a special man to, like, be okay with that. And I'm like, the average man doesn't like a confident woman.
Oh
That
my
is
God.
essentially what you were implying when you say
Yes.
that. But there were a lot of messages I received that, like, the pool of people who would want to be with me was small and unique and rare. And that, I think, I internalized a lot because it made me feel not particularly palatable. And because women's, like, palatability and their levels of attraction is so rooted to worth, I do think I created a lot of, like, low self-worth because of that. Because I thought that, like, the person who would end up wanting to be with me would be somebody who, like, saw me in a very specific light. Like, oh, I know that, like, most of the world doesn't like you, Bailee, but, like, I see you through, like, gentle eyes.
Yeah.
When, like, I look at myself now and I'm just like, I don't think it's that hard to like me. Like, I know I'm not for everyone, but I don't think that I, like, have, like, a particularly, like, divisive or abrasive personality. I'm quirky. No. I'm a quirky girl. I'm weird.
Yeah.
But, like, don't we all kind of like weird people? Yes. I don't know. It's so weird. So I feel like I got a lot of pressure like that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's not.
You're right. I'm okay, but it is not okay. But anyway, I felt kind of, like, overlooked in a lot of that stuff. And I also noticed that there were a lot of girls in my church growing up who had more, like, traditionally feminine personalities. So they were, like, more, like, gentle or muted, and they got married right away.
Yeah.
Like just 18, gone. Like, it was very obvious that they were preferred, like, in a broad way. And I think I did collect a lot of data about, like, oh, I don't think that I am really what the average man is looking for.
I felt the same way.
Yeah. And it was just, like, and I think that there was a part of me that was just, like, I think I would always hoped I would maybe be, like, an Amal Clooney, where, like, come 35, I'd end up marrying George fucking Clooney. Yeah. And, like, maybe, like, nobody up until that point, like, everyone up until that point thought I was abrasive, and then all of a sudden, like, I married the most eligible bachelor. But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Actually. And I don't even mean that really in a negative way. One of the things that has really like opened my mind is like I was told so much that like if I wait like and I'm patient and I wait upon the Lord, like he'll renew my strength.
Yeah.
Or that he's gonna have someone really special for me, and everyone has their soulmate, and the longer you wait, almost the more special that person is that's waiting for you. And I remember you were actually one of the first people who said this to me. Because we were talking, I think I maybe was dating, or I was down on my luck about something. And you had said, Bailee, like, it's possible you won't find someone. And I remember being so taken aback by that because I was never heard that before. I never had anyone tell me. But it was one of those moments where I was taken aback in a way that hurt and it resonated as truth at the same time. You know how that feels when you're hit with the truth?
Yeah, and like I didn't mean.
Oh no! I don't think you were like no one's ever gonna love you.
I just want to clarify.
Yes,
like,
go for it.
After I got divorced, I had to face the fact that it was like, I may never find someone again that is worth this to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I need to be okay with that. And I need to figure out what I want for my life. Yeah. No matter who's in it.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted you to feel, that empowerment that I felt. No matter who is or isn't in your life, like you have a great life.
Yes.
And it does not depend on you getting married because it might not happen.
And that is how over time that advice did like impact me in a way where it's like it's possible. Like if I actually look at the lives of people, like even if people are married for a season, like a lot of people don't stay married for a very long time. Like 50% of marriages end in divorce. And even in the marriages that don't end in divorce, it doesn't inherently mean they were good.
No.
So to me, I'm just like this narrative that we've been given that we're going to like meet someone and everything's going to get better and then we're going to go the long haul is filled with fallacy.
Yes.
And it's also something that is very like, there's a lot of things that you can like control in your life. Like you have some element of control over your career. Like you can there's more of a correlation between what you put into your career and what you get out of it. Yeah. Or like I could be more intentional with developing friendships and putting a lot of effort, which is something I've done. But there's so much serendipity in terms of like dating and meeting. Luck is a really big part of it. And I'm starting to realize like, I mean, I could meet someone tomorrow or I could never. Yeah. And that is like slowly but surely becoming more and more okay with me. And the more it becomes okay, the happier I am. Yeah. Because it's like, I'm looking around and like, I've done some dating and I have to say like, if I had tried to make it work with any of the people I've dated before, it would not look good, you know? Yeah. And I also think like, and I would say like my family is not putting a lot of pressure on me to like get married, but whenever I do feel that pressure, I always think like, if you if I had like ended up trying to make it work with anybody I've dated, then I would be criticized for picking the wrong guy. Yes. Or like, why aren't you picking a better guy? You can't fucking win. So like, I would say like that's been a really big thing for me. But the biggest thing I think like, as much as I've come to peace with it, the hardest part I think of like extended singlehood has actually been the way I have felt that society devalues you. And I was actually just recently talking to a friend about this who they had recently had their like first really long-term serious relationship and it ended up ending and I was having a conversation with them and they said like, you know, the hardest part of this breakup actually isn't breaking up with this person. It's actually knowing that like now that I've been in a relationship, I now realize that when I was being single, I was being treated poorly. And that when I got into a relationship that was serious, people started validating my experience as a person a lot more and my personhood. And now I had a theory when I was single that was happening. But then when I got into a relationship, I was like, oh, I know for sure that was happening to me when I was single. Yeah. And now I have to go back to that.
I remember like a boss of mine said to a single friend, like, who also worked with me, she said something to the effect of like, don't ever complain about like working overtime when you don't have kids or a family.
Ooh, I don't like that at all.
And it was like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like your time's less valued.
It's
you don't
so
have anyone
much
to go
valued.
home to. Yes. It's really hurtful.
Yeah. And that has been another thing that I feel like I have had to learn to guard is my personal time. Because like, okay, so historically, a single woman if she had never gotten married, like back in the day, she would have become like a lady in waiting to a married woman, or she would have become like a concubine or something. She would have become of service to someone else.
Yeah.
That was the
Who is
natural, yes, who was married. So like that remnant still exists in society today.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, you know, here's an example, and this actually hasn't been my experience. I'd like to clarify that, like, I've really trimmed the herd with my friends, and my friends that I have currently right now, regardless of whether or not they are married, value me so much.
Yeah.
This is something I saw before. So I'm actually not seeing this as much anymore, which I'm really grateful for. But there are like certain structures, like for instance, like if one of your friends gets married and you're their bridesmaid, but you haven't gotten married yet, like you put a lot of work into like their wedding, their bachelorette party. If they have kids, you show up to their, you know, baby shower, you give gifts. But then when
meal train,
yes, all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, when it's your turn to get married, or if you have a life event, that person is, you know, already got 3 kids. So all of a sudden they don't have time.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, like when you're a single girl, how much of your time is expected to be invested into your other friends' relationships. And then when it's like time for you to like need help, like that help often isn't there.
Yeah.
And I would say like, I don't see that as much anymore because like I said, like I have a really good core group of girlfriends, but I see that all the time with a lot of my single friends.
Yeah, I have 2 big things to say. One is the best advice I got when I was single was from my old boss at university. I had a great boss, Sue Mills. She was amazing.
Sue Mills.
And she was she got married in her 30s too, and I was in my 20s when I was working for her, and I was like, I just feel like I can't move on because I'm not married. Like I was just really struggling with being on staff and being single in a small town. I was like, I'm never going to meet anyone here.
Yeah.
Everyone's a college student, and that's like weird.
Yeah.
Because I work with college students. And she said to me, like, well, just think about what things do you want in your life that you don't feel like you can have because you're not married. And she was like, for me, I felt like married people can have nice things and I can't have nice things. And so like I invested in nice dishes. And nice silverware, like as much as I could at a time. And I made it a priority to have nice things because I'm allowed to have nice things.
Yeah.
And so like, there's just mindsets that you don't even realize you have that you're like, oh, I'll do that when I get married. Like I would just encourage anybody who feels like that, like, don't wait until you get married because then you don't get to pick them out yourself. You have to like do it with someone else.
With a tacky man if you're heterosexual.
Yes. I know. And like there's just don't put something off.
Yeah.
Don't like I've heard Christians say the craziest stuff like, oh, I'm gonna wait to watch Star Wars till I watch it with my husband.
Why?
Like,
why watch Star Wars at all? That's actually my big question. Why do that to yourself?
Like, don't hold off things for like a later thing that may or may not happen.
Yeah.
Like I felt that way about kids forever. Like, oh, I'll do this when I have kids. I'll do this when I have kids. And it's like, now I'm in my 40s. I'm not going to have kids. That was not what I ever planned for my life, but that's what's going to happen. And so like, I'm taking my friends' kids to those things. Yeah. And like, you know, or like, my husband is actually a kid in his heart, so like he loves
That's what
these
we love
things
about
too.
him. His
You know,
little boo-boos. He's got a whole collection.
Oh my god! And the other thing I do want to say is like I did get married again, and I never thought I'd get married again. I knew when I met Danny that like I wanted him to be my life partner, but I didn't want to get married. And I said to him like, "Hope you're not looking for a wife." Like I think it's our second date. I said,
hot.
I hope you're not looking for a wife because, like, I don't want to be one. And he was like, I mean, whatever. I don't care. And then it came to when we moved in together and I realized, like, if we break up, I have no security in this house. Like, I'm paying rent to this house. I have nothing to show for it. Like, I don't know if he went to hospital or someone I knew went to hospital, but I was like, I have no rights for him in the hospital. Like that's when it became these like societal things,
right?
That I realized like I am not protecting myself if I don't get married.
Yeah. And
I kind of asked him like, do you think we should get married? And he's like, I always wanted to get married. I just didn't think you wanted to. So like he was kind of waiting for me to warm up to it. And it like after we moved in together, I was like, this actually isn't smart for me to like not get married.
Yeah.
It's me just being stubborn and like I don't want the brand.
Right.
Like I don't want the brand of being a wife again. Like I'm done with that.
It was a branding issue for
It's
you.
a branding problem for me.
But it makes sense because like there are a lot of protections that come with being married,
Yes.
which is one of the reasons why like legalizing marriage equality for queer people was so important because there were many issues of like life partnered queer people when their partner had like an injury that was like very serious and they were not able to go into the hospital with the homophobic family because they had no legal access to this person, and that is a tragedy. And so like I'm also like, to clarify, like we're not shitting on marriage, like it's a wonderful thing, and like I honestly still would love to get married. I actually think it would, like, if it was the right person, would improve my life in a lot of ways. I just don't want to approach marriage like I don't get to press play until I'm married.
Right. And I want to say too, the loneliness and pain that you can feel when you're single, which like I validate is real, is so hurtful. It is 10 times worse when you're stuck in a marriage with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like the loneliness and the pain that you constantly feel is much worse. And so I just think it is never going to be worth it. And like, you know this, and you've experienced this. It's never, like, marriage will never fix anything. It will only illuminate things.
Yeah, it's
so
an enhancer.
Whether it's good or bad, it will be better or worse. So like my relationship now isn't very different than when we were dating because we already lived together. And so like, there's just a little less Venmoing. Honestly, like, and I do think I'm treated differently at work because I'm married.
How so?
I just think like I'm more validated.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I think it's different.
Yeah.
And it's not on purpose. I just think it's how the world is, unfortunately.
And that's kind of something that like I have been really intentional because I know that there's so much serendipity to like meeting a person. I'm like, okay, what can I control? And I have really invested in my female friendships and my like community with women. Because like a lot of the like big threat that like people will say to women who are unmarried is like, you're going to die alone with your cats. And the thing is that like ultimately we all die alone.
Yes.
Unfortunately, death is the only thing you have to do solo.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a crowded room. Like, you are going to do it by yourself. And there are people who are married their entire lives, but one person has to die before the other, which ultimately means that the other person has to do it alone. And I will also say that, like, I hate, like, this is so sad to me, but there's, like, a pretty grim statistic about, like, end-of-life care, how much better it is for men who are being cared for by their wife than for women who are dying, being cared for by their husband. Like, the amount, this, like, I think it's, like, you are, if you're married to a man and you become terminally ill, I think you're 11 times more likely to get left than he is if he becomes terminally ill. And so I'm not even trying to say that to be like a man hater. Like, I don't hate men. But what I'm saying is that like getting married does not guarantee that you are going to have end of life support.
Right.
Like, unfortunately, I think that or not even unfortunately, but like the best thing you can do to make sure that you are carried through life is to have girlfriends.
I agree.
And I have a lot of them, and like I lack for nothing. Like when I really think about it, I'm really not lonely at all.
Yeah.
And
I think there's so much intimacy in friendship that is overlooked.
So much, yeah.
Like there are a lot of things I would never expect my spouse to be the person that takes care of every emotional side of me.
No.
I have like, and even things I like to do. Like he is an indoor cat. He does not want to do anything outside.
Yeah.
I have you for that.
I love to be outside.
We go outside together. We go camping together. It's much more fun to do that with someone who likes it.
Yes.
He would do it, but like it would be fun.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I think that way and emotionally too. Like
yeah. And I think too, like it's one of the pieces of advice that like something that I have learned is that like the world is not going to value my time, so I have to. And so like for instance, like I treat this podcast and how I carve out my time preparing it like it's like spending time with a spouse. Yeah. So there are people out there who will like put the time that they spend with their spouse on like it's sacred. It's like I don't like if a friend wants to hang out, I don't say like I don't replace that with time I hang out with my spouse. That is solidified time in my schedule. I treat this podcast like that. And I've had people that are like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, oh, I'm prepping my podcast tonight. And they're like, oh, would you reschedule it? And I'm like, I will not actually. Yeah. This is something that's really important to me. And I'm not saying that people are like, my time isn't valued, but people I think do protect the time that women spend with their spouse and children more than they do with their like careers or hobbies or whatever. But I just treat my hobbies and these things like they're my job.
Yeah.
And that it like I have to protect that with myself. And I've heard some really interesting things to be like about how people like think about my time. Like they'll say like, "Oh, you probably have free time. Like I can call you about things." And then people who actually know me really well are like, "Bailee doesn't have very much free time at all."
No, she's busy.
Yeah,
she's booked.
I'm booked and busy.
Very.
But I think because I don't have a husband, I think I have a lot of free time. And I do not. I have to spend time brushing my cats. And that takes so much time because I have long fur. Yes.
So busy.
Yes.
Anything else to add?
Well, I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
For people who are listening, who are maybe single and they're feeling pressure to get married, or conversely are in a marriage that they're not happy with and are like figuring out what to do, what advice would you give them?
Get divorced.
Okay. You heard it here first. Get a divorce.
I would say like the pain and the stigma of getting divorced was terrible. Especially the Christian stigma.
Yeah.
But getting on the other side of it and realizing how I found myself again was amazing.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of divorced friends. They're all much happier.
Interesting. Interesting.
Like I think I mourned the life I saw happening. I didn't mourn the life I had.
Yeah.
I mourned a future that never would come to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would say do not stay in an unhappy relationship for any reason, even if you have kids. My parents did that for many years. They got divorced after 40 years together. Yeah. Recently. And it's been a really hard adjustment for them and for me. I would have much rather them get divorced when I was younger.
Really?
100%.
Which is interesting because a lot of people would postpone divorce until their kid leaves the house.
I wish they would have gotten divorced any year earlier.
Really?
I think they both think that too. Okay. And what was the other one? If someone really wants to be married?
Yeah, and it hasn't found someone and they're feeling like maybe their life hasn't started yet.
I mean, I would just go back to the advice we gave before, like, don't put anything off just because that. But I would also say, like, do something crazy.
Like what? Like
travel.
Yeah.
Travel. Like travel, go teach abroad. Like there's lots of ways you can go abroad for free by working. Do whatever you want. Like who knows where that will take you. That gets a lot harder the more and more that you build community and have a relationship and things like that. Yeah. But I would say like I'm just as surprised as everyone else that I found somebody much faster than I ever expected to. And that he's as great as he is.
He's lovely.
And that I wanted to marry him. Like I'm shocked by the way my story has panned out. I saw my divorced friends be single for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I was like, okay, so it'll be like a good 10 to 15 years. I bought a condo, a 1-bedroom condo. If I wasn't securing my singleness, like, I don't know how it happened. Yeah. So I think like, I was looking to date somebody for sure, but I never expected to like someone enough again. Yeah. So I think like I'm happily surprised. And you just never know. There are terrible people who are married all the time.
Literally. Also, that's another thing I really want to say too, is that there's a lot of really shitty dating advice out there. Oh, about terrible. Like, you have to love yourself first, or you have to like learn how to be okay with being alone, and then that person will come to you. I am sorry, like, I think that a lot of my single friends embody self-love and contentment and joy in their life a lot more than some of my partnered friends. Like, I have no joke, had partnered people tell me, you have to learn how to be by yourself when they couldn't even go to the grocery store by themselves. Yeah. And I had traveled the country by myself. Yeah. There is such a hierarchy put on like coupled people that they've like, they found the right headspace to get married in, or they worked through their problems. And that is just, there's no correlation. Yes. I actually don't know. I think it's luck meeting someone if you ever do, but it's not like, oh, if you work on yourself, then you'll find someone. Like that, if that were the case, then I think single people would actually be partner, not the other way around. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. And to say, make sure that it's worth it to be asking someone every day, what do you want to eat for dinner? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then one more thing I too want to say too is like, as much as like we want people to be comfortable single, it is also like there's a lot of incentive to be partnered in this society. It's less expensive. It's genuinely very fiscally and socially challenging to be single.
Yes.
So we don't want to like take away from the fact that like, you know, obviously we want to give advice, like go do what you want to do. Like, I'm going to be honest, as a single person, I can't just go travel right now.
Right.
If I was partnered, maybe I'd have a little bit more expendable income. And I only say that to be like, it's valid, to be like, it's not easy. And also, like, I think it's important for coupled people to know that, like, you know, if you're having like a big wedding and you have a dual income household, maybe don't expect your single friends to give you really extravagant gifts.
Yeah.
I don't even know why that's a thing, to be honest. Like, why is the dual income household asking for a gift from the single income one? Riddle me that. Couldn't
riddle me that.
Riddle me that. But anyway, I think it's important to acknowledge that like society isn't really set up for being single. And also, if you can persevere through it, I think that there's so much joy to be had in a single life.
Aw, cute.
Yeah.
Am I the closer?
I think you are.
Blessed are the listeners, for they shall inherit a life filled with love, joy, community, and abundance, whether or not they are married. And that's us at Praise Be to Pod, and I moved my iPad, and you can find us on praisebetopod.com and Praise Be to Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Threads. It is finished.
Bye.
Bye.